You ever wonder what really makes someone successful? It's a question I'm kind of obsessed with. We all tend to look at the obvious stuff, fancy schools, expensive tutors. But what if the real keys to success, to building a truly brilliant mind, are hiding in plain sight, right inside our own homes? Okay, let's get into this.
So I have this thing I do. Whenever I meet somebody who's just exceptionally sharp, and I'm not just talking about CEOs, but people at any level who just have that spark, I always try to figure out what makes them tick. I want to know about the experiences that shaped them. And after years of asking, I started to see this hidden thread connecting all these amazing people. For me, this whole investigation really kicked into high gear about 5 years back when I met this young engineer. And honestly, he was a total phenomenon. He had this wild, almost sixth sense for taking apart any problem and finding a solution, no matter how ridiculously complex the system was.
I mean, everyone, from the junior guys all the way up to senior management, was just in awe of this kid. So of course, I had to know his secret. I asked him about everything, where he went to school, what he studied in college, his whole life story, really. I was just digging for that one thing that set him so far apart.
After talking with him, I basically made it my mission. I started asking every super smart person I ran into the same question. So what was your childhood like? I was searching for that common thread, right? And this surprising, almost unbelievable pattern started to pop up.
Yeah, you heard that right. It wasn't about going to some elite private school or having a bunch of tutors. The one thing they all had in common was practical, hands-on work at home. They washed dishes, they cleaned, they fixed stuff. They were actually engaging with the real world, getting their hands dirty from a young age.
I was floored. I mean, it just seemed too simple. Could doing the laundry or cleaning your room really be a secret ingredient for building a brilliant mind? I decided I had to see if there was any hard science, any real evidence to back up what I was seeing. And what I found was staggering.
And that's what led me to one of the most incredible studies ever done on human life. It's a project out of Harvard University, and it gives us powerful scientific proof for what I was starting to suspect.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 80 years. For nearly a whole human lifetime, researchers at Harvard followed the same group of people, all the way from their childhood into old age. They wanted to find the real, actual predictors of a successful and happy life.
This is really the gold standard of this kind of research. Scientists like George Vaillant and Robert Waldinger were trying to answer the biggest question of all: what truly makes people thrive? And their conclusion? It was crystal clear.
Get this. The study found a direct line. The kids who consistently did chores at home grew up to be more successful in their careers, they were more emotionally balanced, they were better collaborators, and, this is the big one, they were way more likely to become effective leaders.
And it's not some one-off finding either. Other major research, like from the American Psychological Association, completely backs this up. It shows that kids who help out around the house develop more resilience and empathy, which, are two cornerstones of emotional intelligence. Okay, so we've got the stories and we've got the long-term studies. But what's actually happening inside the brain? How does something as simple as washing the dishes turn into leadership potential? Well, this is where the science gets really cool.
It all comes down to this process. See, when a kid does a chore, they run into a small, real-world problem. Maybe it's a stubborn stain, or a messy shelf, or a toy that needs fixing. They have to figure out a plan and then actually do it. That whole process directly fires up and strengthens the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that handles planning, making decisions, and solving problems. They are literally, physically building a better brain. And when they do this over and over, something really profound happens. It hardwires their brain to automatically look for solutions. It builds a core belief, a deep-down part of their identity that says, I am a problem solver. It teaches them that no challenge is too big, you just have to find the right way to tackle it.
So this brings us to a huge issue in our modern world. If these practical skills are so important, why have we basically gotten rid of them? Not just in our homes, but especially in our schools.
Think about it. It really is a tale of two systems. We used to have an education system that actually valued practical skills. Remember home ec? It taught kids how to cook and manage a home. But today, the whole game is shifted. It's almost entirely focused on theoretical knowledge and just getting the highest grades, no matter what.
And what's the consequence of that shift? Well, it's pretty clear. We're creating a generation that's fantastic at taking tests, but often gets stuck when they face a real-world, messy problem that isn't in a textbook. And that creates a massive deficit in the very skills that define what a true leader is.
But you know what? The solution is right in front of us. We just need to start consciously bringing these skills back. At home, it means making chores a normal, non-negotiable part of family life. And in schools, it means bringing back life skills. We need to teach our kids how to be self-reliant, because that's exactly how we'll raise the next generation of leaders.
So, if you take just one thing away today, let it be this. A chore isn't just about getting a task done. It's a workout for the brain's leadership and problem-solving muscles. It's one of the most powerful forms of development training we can possibly give our kids.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. In this relentless race for perfect grades and test scores, are we forgetting to teach the very skills that create capable, resilient, and truly resourceful people? The answer to that could change everything.